Your obsession with someone, especially a girl, can make you do things you yourself never knew you could do. How? Let's watch the full video and find out! Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we'll be going through the 2017 thriller film Infidelity in Suburbia. It's time to recall. Let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts with a couple making out passionately. As the man throws the woman on the bed, they are interrupted by the woman's son. The boy shows them a dead mouse and smiles. The woman starts screaming. In the next scene, we see a boatyard where a family of 3 is setting up their boat. The woman named Laura talks about renovating her kitchen, but her husband does not seem to be a fan of the idea. She then asks her son to be careful with the knife. The husband then gets a call and walks away. We see another man who is incessantly looking at Laura. She is walking with her stuff in her cart and slips, almost falling off, but the man comes to her rescue, saving her from falling down. After the man leaves, Laura's husband comes back and gives her the newspaper with the headline of an arson on Denton Island. Meanwhile, their son Jamie slips on the edge and falls into the water. The same man to the rescue again. He saves Jamie and brings him to his parents. The man introduces himself as Elliot, and the parents thank him for his help. They then invite him to a family dinner where Laura talks about Elliot with her best friend Mira. She seems fascinated by the man's physique. They then invite him into the house to serve him dinner. He admires one of Laura's paintings to the fullest. This is when she tells him that she used to sell, but Greg turned her studio into a work shed. Amidst all this, Greg is on the phone with his secretary and seems to be flirting with her. Elliot then offers them to complete the renovation at family rates, and the family happily agrees. The next day, while Laura is jogging with Mira, the two talk about how hot Elliot is. As she gets home, she finds Elliot standing shirtless in the yard. Laura goes to talk to him, and as he explains the renovation, Laura cannot keep her eyes off of his body. She runs upstairs to take a shower. As she's in the shower cabin, Elliot silently passes in front of the room. Later on, Laura goes to the market to get some stuff for the kitchen, and Elliot springs behind her. He compliments her choice of design and then offers her a surprise. Making her close her eyes, he makes her taste a delicious cannoli and a sip of juice. He then tells her it's from a bakery called Laodicea and that he used to go there with his mom. They are back at Laura's house. Mira gets there and sees Elliot working shirtless. She too is fascinated by him and starts asking him questions regarding having girlfriends and his living. He tells her that he has no girlfriend but has eyes on someone. Later on, Laura goes to the boatyard with Elliot to check if anyone tried to break in or not. There, she finds purple-colored panties of a girl under a cushion. She cries in frustration. Elliot asks her what's the matter, and she shows him the panties she found on the boat. She suspects these are Hannah's panties, the secretary. She then double-checks by looking at her dating profile, and it turns out that these are hers. She gets really upset and cries hard. Elliot takes her to his own boat and brings her a cup of coffee. He then encourages her to move on and find the next path. The two seem to be having some chemistry as Laura leaves with an exchange of smiles. Then we see Elliot crying as he looks at his mother's pictures. In the next scene, we see Laura inquiring Greg about his activities last night. She asks him where he was last night. He tells her that he was at work and he called Hannah to take notes. Greg then tries to get close to her, but she pushes him away. The next morning, Elliot arrives at Laura's house with the stuff for the renovation. Laura gets back from the jog and finds Jamie having a chat with Elliot. He is apparently great with kids. Laura then asks him to join Mira and Charlie while she herself goes to take a shower. Elliot follows her to the bathroom and gets in the shower cabin with her. He gets undressed, Laura consents, and they start making out passionately. In the next scene, Laura is at the boatyard where she sees various couples hugging each other. Then she goes to talk to her husband on their boat. Greg tells her how teenagers these days sneak into different boats for their amorous activities. Laura then mentions the purple underwear. Greg says that it must be of some teenager who also left the flap open. Laura is in shock when Greg hugs her and confesses his love. In the meantime, we see Elliot playing with Jamie in the yard. Laura gets there and asks Jamie to play with Charlie. She then takes Elliot with her and tells him that they should stop what they are doing immediately. Instead of listening to her, he starts seducing her. She tries to defend but eventually ends up giving in. We then see Elliot sitting in his boat where he starts cutting out Greg's face from Laura's pictures. Being extremely creepy, he replaces his face in the pictures. He goes to meet Laura the next day and offers her roses for her birthday, saying he knows everything about her. Laura looks at him in perplexity and her husband gets there. Upon seeing yellow roses, he gets surprised as they are Laura's favorite. Greg then leaves for work and Elliot comes into Laura's house where she scolds him for doing what he did. She tells him that she was mistaken about Greg and that she cannot do this any longer. She then asks him to leave the house as she doesn't want him to work there anymore. Elliot starts shivering in grief and the scene fades out. After that, she goes to Jamie and tells him that there is no Elliot anymore. However, the next thing we see, he is still in the yard stalking Laura. After that, Laura gets all dolled up and walks outside. There is a group of people out there and they surprise her with a birthday party. She thanks everyone and proceeds to kiss her husband while Elliot looks on. In the meantime, Hannah arrives there and tells Laura how excited Greg was to plan all this. He had her work late to ensure everything goes perfectly. Greg takes Elliot and introduces him to Hannah, and she starts eyeing him seductively. But Elliot is unable to take his eyes off Laura. He excuses himself, but the ladies go after him. Hannah tries to talk to him, but he barely responds, constantly setting his eyes on Laura. After the party, Hannah runs behind him and asks him to take her along. On the other hand, Laura is in bed with Greg, and she decides to confess what she did with Elliot. Greg, however, stops her and states that she is amazing. He keeps complimenting her, and they edge into romance. Elliot, on the other hand, takes Hannah to the boat with him. Hannah throws herself onto him, but Hannah finds out that he is not interested as she sees that he is not even turned on. She gets annoyed and gets up to leave when she finds Laura's pictures on the wall. He starts calling Elliot things and he strangles her from behind. The next morning, Laura is watering the plants when Greg comes along and says sweet things to her. He tells her that when the trip is over, they will have more time for each other and then they kiss. Elliot is in the house and he watches them with sheer jealousy. Laura then goes to the work shed and finds out that it has been turned into a studio. She finds canvases all around, but on every canvas, Elliot and Laura Forever is written. Laura is bewildered by the whole thing, and then she hears Jamie scream. She finds him in the yard and he tells her that Elliot was here. Laura instantly runs outside and meets Elliot. She tells him to leave them alone and refrain from any more surprises. Elliot is obsessed with her. He keeps saying that she and Greg are done. His continued obsession then turns into forceful behavior, and he holds her forcefully. Laura begins to scream, and Jamie sees the whole thing. Seeing him out there, Elliot lets go of Laura and leaves the house. That night, Laura goes to Elliot's website and reads the reviews about his work. She finds a disturbing comment from a purple wallflower that Elliot destroyed her life. The next morning, Laura immediately leaves for Denton Island and goes to a shop. She talks to the owner and asks for a purple wallflower. The shopkeeper tells her about a woman named Willie Hamill. The man gives her the address and Laura goes to the woman's house. Upon talking to her, the woman reveals that she lost everything because of Elliot, her marriage, and her family. She tells her that Elliot is downright crazy. She asks Laura to look into what he did to his own mother. In the next scene, we see that Hannah's body is found in the water. Mira and Bill watch the news on TV, and they try to call Greg. As Greg is about to take that call, Elliot springs up behind him and the scene fades out. Laura, on the other hand, wakes up from her sleep and she looks extremely scared and anxious. She picks up a baseball bat and walks downstairs. She constantly hears something breaking in the house. She comes to the kitchen where she finds the same cannoli Elliot once made her taste. Then she finds a window frame that has been totally smashed. In the next scene, we see Greg tied up with a pole in the boat. He manages to free himself and tries to run away, but gets hit by Elliot. Laura, on the other hand, talks to Mira and reflects her suspicion about Greg's disappearance. She then tells Mira that she had an affair with Elliot, and now Elliot is totally obsessed with her. Mira then asks her to be careful with this person. Laura then goes to the bakery and talks to the old woman at the counter. There, she sees a wall of memory with picture frames. The old woman there reveals about Elliot and how he used to come there with his mother since he was a kid. Unfortunately, his mother never had a faithful husband, and this had a great impact on Elliot, leading him to become the man he is now. But things took a worse turn when he burned down the whole house. Laura listens to the story. She gets even more afraid and instantly gets up. As she is about to leave, the old woman tells her that Elliot came in the morning and told her that he is going to marry a widow and become a stepdad. She instantly runs home, and to her horror, she finds Elliot waiting for her. Laura asks him about the whereabouts of Greg, but he starts getting physical and starts physically abusing her. He brutalizes her. Jamie comes there, but he sends him back. Then he drags Laura to the bedroom. He ties Laura up, but she manages to get free. She then confesses her love for Elliot and tells him that she has now realized how much she actually loves him. Elliot then completely unties her and both of them go downstairs to have dinner. Jamie is tied downstairs, but Laura still asks him to eat and play along. This is when Mira and Bill get there, and Laura tries to walk toward the window. Elliot finds out just in time and forces both son and mother to go upstairs to the bedroom with him. Elliot picks up Jamie and lets him go outside so that he can have some private time with Laura. Laura tries to get away, but he grabs her on the bed and starts to rape her. Just as he gets on top of Laura, Jamie enters the room. This is when Elliot gets the same flashback from his own childhood. He phases out, and Laura, making good use of the opportunity, hits him and escapes. Laura then makes Jamie run for his life, and in the meantime, Elliot wakes up. He then terrorizes Laura. He throws her to the floor and hits her with a hammer on the head. In the next scene, we see him carrying a body in a sack to the boat. Laura instantly cuts the sack with a knife and escapes. There, she comes face to face with Elliot. She stabs him and runs away. Then she follows a blood trail and finds Greg unconscious. She calls the Coast Guard for help, but it does not connect. Elliot, on the other hand, springs up again and Laura hits him. She tries to run away, but Elliot chases after her. He catches her in a room upstairs. Luckily, the room has a window, and she pushes him out of that window. Crashing down, Elliot hits his head and dies. In the final scene, we see Laura's family together and happy. Surprisingly, she opens the fridge and finds that there is delicious cannoli inside. Greg bought it, and this is where the movie ends. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.